Hello YouTube, it's been a little while. We've got a YouTube exclusive here though, a red-white lockout list, red-white 9 lives lockout. There will be some critiques I'm sure about the deck construction and complete questions on why we're not completing the combo. Take a look at the deck list. Let us know in the comments what you think. Let us know how you would adjust the list. I'm sure we have some opinions. We'll see you in the matches. Red-white lockout here, 9 lives lockout in Modern. So we've got a couple new cards here to the red-white lockout package, and you'll probably note by the title and also us talking about it that we have 9 lives present here in the list. Now 9 lives, if you're not familiar, basically reads hexproof, don't lose the game until you have 9 counters on it, and you get counters by getting damage. So it gives you, not 9 turns, but it gives you 9 points of damage that you've got some room to wiggle. Now, 9 lives obviously can be a problem because if it leaves the battlefield, you'll lose. So we have Solemnity, but it's sideboard. So the idea here is that I should be able to lock the game out enough, game 1, and as long as my opponent perhaps doesn't completely bash me in, which they shouldn't because I'm attempting to lock them out, we'll be good. Now, if my opponent has a way to get rid of Solemnity, I don't necessarily bring this in and I actually can remove 9 lives. But if they don't, we'll bring Solemnity in and Idyllic Tutor. So we're going to perform some sort of lock, hopefully in our league. You'll also notice that unlike some of the lists with Magus of the Tabernacle, we've dropped that for an Avalanche Rider, and I've dropped a couple other things for one of the commands that is most notably never used, Incendiary Command. Now, Incendiary Command is a removal, 4 damage to player or planeswalker, 2 damage to everything, that being creatures. But notably, it does destroy a land. There is a clause that each player discards all cards, draws all cards. We're probably not going to do that. But the first 3 interested me enough to give this command a shot in Modern. There's probably a very good reason it is not typically used. Otherwise, the list is fairly standard for the red-white lockout. We have Mana Tithe, no Oust, that's been removed with 9 lives. Pillage, Molten, Stone Rain kind of effects, extra Avalanche Riders, sideboards chock full of protection from red, board wipes, or ways to interact with our opponent's spell cost, transfer, and defense grid. Notably, no Spyglass here, so we'll see if that punishes us as well. Red-white lockout here in Modern. Let's go to the matches and see how we do. Red-white lockout, 9 lives in Modern. Untested, the few changes we've done. We're going to see if they benefit us. The last time we were testing this list, we used Emrakul and Nahiri, and you'll notice we're not repeating that. It was a mistake. This one though, we'll just have to find out. Untested, brand new, brewed about 5 minutes ago before this recording. Let's go ahead and play some Magic. Gigi is our first opponent here, about to get destroyed. Land destruction. Alright, we have a suppression field. Ironically, I have one of my incendiary commands. I kind of like this starting. I am on the draw. Hitting a few lands here. We got 22. It could be nice. The suppression field could be a hit or a miss here. I think if this was just a land or something else, I'd be pretty happy. Let's go ahead and keep it. Who knows? Maybe we're going to be hard punished here. We'll see. Windswept Heath. Cracks Windswept Heath. That's always a good sign, seeing some fetch lands when you have suppression field. Basic Forest here, and a Utopia Sprawl. This is a very bad sign. Ponza would be a very difficult matchup for us. We hit another Avalanche Riders, and we're just going to pass the turn here. Now, if they take the turn to play a Blood Moon, that's completely fine here. I presume this Wooded Foothills. I say Ponza. That's a white. Stoneforge. Okay. Okay, this is kind of interesting. If I hit a Boom Bust here, I can blow up the white source. You have a Stoneforge. Batterskull. Okay. This could be interesting. Suppression field is reasonable against this. Let's go ahead and play that down. Now it'll cost everything for them to go ahead and activate Stoneforge. We're a little ways away from preventing a Batterskull. But if they don't have the 4th land here, things could get very interesting very quickly. Okay, we're somewhere here. The 4th land would also mean the entire turn is placing Batterskull into play. Stone Raining away the Utopia Sprawled Forest here could really set them back. Let's see what they want to do. Maybe they have only a fetch land. I like our position. I like it a lot more. Hitting that land was important. We have a bunch of Avalanche Riders. Stoneforge comes in. They can't pay for this. What is their extra card here? Another Stoneforge. So I have to beat a couple 1/2s, it looks like. Embercleave has joined the party. Land. Oh, we're getting there. Stone Rain the Forest. Get out of here, opponent. This is how we drew it up. The league is already a success. Doesn't even matter if my opponent floods out here. We're looking smart. Alright, we're going to go ahead and play an Avalanche Riders in. We're probably going to consider the Echo cost. I'm going to leave it back on defense, I think. That seems fine to do so. A win. Yes. Yes, indeed. Ghostly. Oh, we were 2 away. If they ever got the Batterskull in, we could do 4 damage to the Batterskull, and then it would take a little bit of extra effort to get it attached to something. All right, so we have a list that potentially could not get out of the Solemnity lock. I'm not entirely sure if that's where I want to be going with this. I could see some angers here. Our opponent is a creature-based deck. That seems to be the case. Using Utopia Sprawl to also ramp is really good for us since we do tend to kill those things. I'm trying to think if Solemnity makes sense, though. I like Bolt. I like Helix. I really like Suppression Fields. I'm good with Mana Tide. I actually sort of like Incendiary Command here, blowing up some lands. They didn't play any non-basics, but they're probably assuming I'm playing Blood Moon. What do I not like here? I don't really know. The only thing I could think of is quite honestly, like, if I feel like Incendiary Command's is too far up and I don't want to blow up a land and like kind of semi-board wipe. If their creatures are small, maybe that comes out and a little bit lower with the anger. I don't really know. Maybe I do trim a Mana Tide. They seem to have cheaper creatures. 1 or 2 Mana Tides out and bring the angers in as kind of mid-range removal here on the 3 slot. I'm afraid to bring the Solemnity in, but I'm almost tempted to. I'm almost tempted to. You know what? Let's go 1 more Mana Tithe here. Solemnity, 1 more Mana Tithe, and Idyllic Tutor. I'm doing this because I think my opponent's... Well, they could bring in enchantment removal thinking that I have Blood Moon. Maybe that's not a smart idea. Who cares? Who cares? Let's try it. We're up a game. We're here to play Magic. We're here to have fun. We're here to try things so you know whether you should try them or not. All right. We have a Bolt, Sunbaked Canyon. We have a Helix as well. 1 land, though, is a little bit risky. I think, man, if we hit that land, we're just looking good, but I don't know if I want to worry about hitting the land. Let's mulligan. Much better, much better. Okay, here I can probably get rid of a Stone Rain or even just get rid of the Boom Bust. If I do either of those, I'm probably okay to just hit Pillage, Stone Rain, Ghostly Prison. If my opponent truly is all in on the Stoneforge package, we're probably okay to try this. I don't need to lose a land here, so we'll give this a shot. Windswept Heath. Still going for those basics. There's an Arbor Elf. All right. I'm going to put Sacred Foundry tapped. Wish I had a Bolt for Arbor Elf, but that'll be okay. If they load this up with a Utopia Sprawl, I'll be missing my Boom Bust. Especially now having top decked a land. I don't need more than about 3-4 lands. Although, The command is in there somewhere. Command does kill this, and the anger does kill that as well. As awkward as a Blood Moon would be right now, I'm not so concerned. And I've never really been too concerned about getting reverse Blood Mooned. We should probably be more concerned. They are fetching a bunch of basics. Maybe that's a reason to take the command out. It destroys a non-basic, ironically. There's a non-basic. All right, so we have a Sacred Foundry here. We have double green and 1 pip of red or white, depending on what they pick. Could be a Stone Forge here. That would be fine with me. I'm probably Stone Raining first, then Pillage, then Ghostly Prison. Although at some point I'm going to need to get rid of this Arbor Elf so that they don't have a lot of excess mana for the Ghostly Prison activations or taxing payment. We are deciding whether to shock this in or not. If you've got a 3-drop, shock away. If you do not, tapped it is. Plays a Utopia Sprawl as well. All right. And a Renin 6. All right, so Renin 6 is kind of the bane of our existence here. That'll be interesting. But maybe with the 9 lives, maybe we'll get something. It is the bane of our existence because even though I'm going to blow up a land, and that will be what we do, my opponent can obviously just work through and pick those lands back up. Rest in Peace is sideboard. I would not bring this in for this matchup though either. It's not a matchup that warrants a Rest in Peace. Now if we were doing some sort of Fall of the Thran shenanigans like we did in Pioneer, perhaps, but let's stick to this line here. We are going to make it difficult for them for a while. Although our life total is at 20 currently, you can think of it as 20 plus maybe 4 more turns, 3 turns perhaps. Renin 6 does help 9 lives. Ooh, and it's really good to see that coming in. This is a little bit scary though. Seeing a 4-3 here is definitely a quick clock, but at the same time also seeing this means that they might have ways to get rid of my Solemnity. We did talk about they probably assume I'm a Blood Moon deck and would need to have that in here. We're starting to see a lot of tokens, a lot of ways for the 9 lives to not really be impactful. I'm starting to think Ghostly Prison might be worthwhile here. Thinking Ghostly Prison might be because in order to attack, they have to tap down. It slows things down with the Ghostly. The other thing I could do is Stone Rain the land here. If I Stone Rain that land, they have a bit less mana this coming turn. Let's go ahead and Stone Rain first. The other thing is with the Arbor Elf, I know they've picked up a fetch land, but they're not going to really untap, and they're going to do a little more damage to themselves. We're in a bit of a pickle here, but that's probably because I quite honestly need an anger. So maybe 9 lives can buy us enough time here. One thing that's a little tricky, though, Renin 6 is going to stick around and punish our 9 lives. Now, if we find ourselves with a Solemnity here, then we'll be in good shape. Last thing we would need is a Torp Orb. I think I've left Torp Orb at home, though. 4 mana here. This looks like a Blood Braid and a Pillage to follow up. Hits one of my lands. The land destruction deck gets hurt by this. In for some damage. We're down to 10. I think I still play maybe Ghostly Prison over 9 lives here. Slow them down for another turn here. Flagstones isn't a bad one to see. Let's go ahead and do the Ghostly here. If they have another Night of Autumn, they're going to just clear the Ghostly and just kill us. If they don't, then we have the 9 lives this coming turn. I could also try to put a Rekindling Phoenix in to temper the Renin 6. If they want to, 4, 5, 6, 7 does come through. This would be 8, so it would actually probably need to be 9 lives next turn, though. We'll see. They've got some thinking to do. And they've got to be careful how they activate. If they go to the costing of this, I don't know if they can activate this during that. It's kind of a weird situation. 3 mana looks like another Night of Autumn. Okay. Part of me doesn't want to show them the 9 lives. Part of me also knows I'm pretty dead here. We'll just ignore what I just said about showing them 9 lives. Clearly, it didn't matter. A lot of Knight of Autumns. A lot of Knight of Autumns makes me not like my Solemnity 9 lives package as much. I'm on the play, makes me want to bring Mana Tithe back in and Anger the Gods as well. Just an extra way to remove something. I think that's okay to do. I did leave Spyglass at home. We talked briefly about that. I think I somewhat regret that, unfortunately. We'll bring in the interaction here. Game number 3 against our opponent. Playing some sort of Naya like value creatures. Suppression Field does work well against Arbor Elf and Renin 6, so that is our ticket to locking them out a little bit harder. We'll look for Mana Tithe, Suppression Field, probably Anger, and then our land destruction spells in that order. Bolt and Helix would be an okay. Also 1-2. Let's play first. Here's a 1-lander again. I don't think we can keep a 1-lander. I think it's too risky. This is a 2-lander. 2-lander, get rid of a Ghostly Prison, have a Bolt and Helix. We'll do that with the idea that if I can get the suppression down here on turn 2 or 3, we'll probably be in good shape. My opponent has mulled to 5 cards. We do need a white source. Cascading Cataracts does play well with Boom Bust, but otherwise does make us light on our colored pips here. We'll see how it works out. Opponent's mulled to 5. I don't know what they're looking for other than they're trying to still find those basics. They've been playing those since game 1 here against us. No surprise. A lot of people play basics against me. I can't imagine why. Alright, they've kept 5 as you can see here. We're going to go ahead and lead with our Bolt possibly. We'll see if they play the Arbor Elf or if we're going to see a Utopia Sprawl. Windswept Heath, cracks Windswept Heath, basic forest. Seems to be the play every game. So, and an Arbor Elf. We'll go ahead and pick that off. No reason to keep that around, and if I can get the suppression field down, that'd be great. Alright, we hit a Mana Tithe. We do need our white mana at some point. Maybe that Arbor Elf makes them stumble just enough here. Hoping it's like just a Utopia Sprawl here. Sometimes when they play the Arbor Elf, the next thing they want to be doing is playing a Utopia Sprawl. There's a Wooded Foothills. If we would have gotten the suppression field down, we'd be in good shape. We do miss our land drop. We're just going to have to pass back. Great thing to not see was Renin 6. Renin 6 there probably just ends us. Stomping Ground. Tapped. I wonder what's at 3 that they would like to play. Suppression field is getting weaker and weaker as we go. I still probably play the suppression field as soon as I can. Just to stop future fetch lands, because I do have this pillage. Opponent shocks in here and plays a 3 mana pillage, taking care of our red source. Alright. We do hit our white. Let's go ahead and play a suppression field down past turn. It does take the Mana Tithe off. I'm hoping they don't have land Bloodbraid Elf. Fetch land's good to see here. Knight of Autumn. That would have been nice to be able to Mana Tithe, but I can play another suppression field. They will be blowing up our suppression field. They should fetch right now. They'll get around to the fetching soon. Play another suppression field. My opponent should fetch. They don't. Little oops. That's okay. They can still fetch here. This might make our Mana Tithe a bit stronger here. In for 2. That's fine with us. Best thing would be for them to play something. I mana tithe and then maybe get to pillage a land here. Here we go. 3 mana. Bone Crusher. I think this is worth a mana tithe. Now I'm pillaging a land. That's nice. Suppression Field. Get crushed, Bone Crusher. Now I'm pillaging? I can't quite pillage. I can pillage now. I think I pillage. Yeah. Kind of taking a lot to do all this, but I think taking them off white here, they have to fetch. If they're playing something instead, then we get to kill. Maybe I find another land destruction spell. We kind of have their mana tied up here. Ghostly Prism wouldn't be bad to see here. The Helix is going to offset a little bit of this Night of Autumn damage. There's a Temple Garden. They do shock in. In for 2. If they played a Wrenn and 6 now without fetching, I'd feel pretty good. There's a Stone Rain. I think we continue to go after lands here. I don't see any reason not to. Again, Helix will be played a bit later. Fetching with Wooded Foothills. Trying to make it hard for them to play. Maybe this Wooded Foothills doesn't hit too much. Who knows? I don't know how many fetchable lands they have. They're off white now by killing that Temple Garden, so that's important. Oh, we've Lightning Bolted us. We have 1 card left. We're at virtually 6. Okay. I think I'm going to 6. No double bolt, I presume, because they didn't fire 1 more bolt off there. Windswept Heath. Okay. I feel fairly safe, and I want to keep them off a Bloodbraid Elf here. Let's go ahead. I take a point to do this. I'm so afraid of a Bloodbraid Elf showing up. Can I take the point, and then I can Helix the next turn? They've only used 1 bolt so far. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Stomping Ground. They'll take 2 here. Floats red. That's a little frightening. Using it just to do Windswept Heath. I think I have 1 more turn here. They get the basic planes. Oh, they had the bolt. Never mind. They just held both bolts. Dang. That sucks. Bummer. Bummer. I played with my life total a little too much there. Maybe we wait. We're able to kill this. I don't really have too much coming there. As long as they didn't have another threat, we'd be in good shape. But if they had a threat... If they had a threat, it was gonna be all over. Dang. Well, there you go. Match 1. Got some trials in there. A few of the cards. We'll go to match 2 and see if we can't continue to learn some things. Alright, match number 2 here, playing Red-White Lockout with a few new toys in Modern. Found our opponent fairly quickly, that's always a good sign. Let's see what we can do. We felt pretty good there in game 1, match 1, but didn't quite continue the trend. We get to play first here. We have a Mana Tithe, we have a Boom Bust, we have 2 lands. It's hard to turn this one away. This one looks good. We'll go ahead and play Inspiring Vantage and pass the turn. Mana Tithe open. Opponent is William. 0-0. Basic Swamp here. An Inquisition. No thank you, no thank you. Can't let you know what I'm up to just yet, opponent. Not yet, opponent. This would kind of give it away. Let's shock in. Let's play with our life total. We did that last time. I could boom bust them here, but I kind of like the idea of having a Helix open here. And this working my way up to this Avalanche Riders loading up with an Inquisition there. We have an Urborg. This is starting to feel like rack. Target player discards 2 cards. Let's discard a Helix here. Let's discard... I suppose I can just do a Boom Bust here. The Pillage is actually reasonably good against rack. Ooh. Pillage them this turn, and then, like, after that, be able to Avalanche Riders them, possibly. They'll just Inquisition or Thoughtseize me. Oh well, Pillage away. We'll get the Urborg here. In case they have, like, a Mutavault and they needed to do another Wrenchmine or Smallpox style here. Our Flagstones are looking pretty good. There's the Mutavault. Alright, did we avoid? There's the rack. Alright, I really want to come after this swamp next. That's fine. We're going to take a little bit of damage here. Deals damage. Interesting. Dealing damage. Alright, let's play Avalanche Riders here. We're going to take the turn to chill. 9 lives gives us actually a reset on life after a little bit. We'll see if that pays off for us. We're definitely going to get rid of this swamp, though. Mutavault is their only card. Fatal Push, perhaps? I hope they wait. Oh, Dismember. Dismember's weird to cast with 1 up. Well, I guess I'm playing potentially 9 lives next. This will be interesting. Black actually struggles to get rid of a 9 lives. That might get the concession. Depends on what this March Flat goes and gets. Please, not a discard spell. Another rack would be fine. Boots up the Mutavault. Okay. We don't care about our last card in hand. This will be interesting. We could very well die to our own 9 lives here. There's a land. Damage. That would be 2. I'm going to wait a turn here. If they decide to Inquisition me, fine. If they just make me discard, I discard the land here. Alright. I'll get rid of the land and keep my 9 lives. Maybe they're not coming in for any damage this time. I would probably play a land destruction spell. Pillage would be really good. Ooh, there's a land. Okay. Rack doing rack things. Lands are now damage. I really wonder if I can get the 9 lives down and not have my hand taken away from me. Can I wait one more turn? Ugh. 2 lands. This gets really disgusting. Let's put it into play. We're not here not to play it, right? 9 lives is in play. Opponent's like, what? This is a matchup where Solemnity in hand would have been really nice as well. We're going to see probably a Liliana here. Ah, Davriel. Our buddy. Is this loss of life? Everything is damage. There's so much damage that can happen to us. All the damages. Alright, so this should go up to 2. Look at them little counters. Look at that little counter. Little cat. It's a Manatee. That's probably really bad. It's probably not the best thing here. Looking for another land destruction spell. That being said, 9 lives is actually going to buy us, I think, an extra turn or 2 here. It looks like it will. Now, the problem being that having these cards here, I'm going to add counters pretty rapidly, and Mutavault comes in as well. I'm up to 5 counters. Okay, that is like one of the best draws we could have had here. Avalanche Riders, get rid of the Mutavault here, and swing at Davriel. Okay, alright. And I don't want to be playing anything else. Okay. Now we only take 1 a turn. Gives us 4 turns here. They do have a Raven's Crime. I don't draw cards very well in this. We could be very dead still. Could be very dead. Smallpox. Well. I guess I want to pillage off the top. We got 2 more left in the list. Kill this. We'll get rid of our flagstone. I get to go get a land here. My opponent lost a land there. I mean, there is an argument to be said about just... let's get the basic plains here. There's an argument to just blowing up the swamp if I get the chance to. 9 lives, though. What is this triggered on? Oh, that's a good card, too. I have 3 turns here. I think I have to hold Kindling Phoenix, trying to get out of reach of this. Because it's 3 turns away, we're in trouble. Puts a land into play tapped. Uses a Thoughtseize here. Does get our Kindling Phoenix. Looking for pillage as our out right now. This is a redraw. We'll go ahead and take that redraw. Looking for pillage. Helix. Helix is most certainly not an out. Oh, we're gonna die. Save us, pillage. Maybe I should have just put the Phoenix in. With that Helix there, we might just kill him on damage. Rack goes up. Uh-oh. 9 or more. I think we died to the rack anyway if we had 9 lives not in play, but 9 lives most certainly gave us some extra time there. Most certainly gave us some extra time. That's okay. We can bring Solemnity in. No. Goodbye, 9 lives. Goodbye. All right, Rack. I see you over there. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. Okay. Solemnity, Idyllic Tutor can come in this game. Trinosphere is looking interesting. Rest in Peace is a possibility. Core Firewalker is probably in a no-go here. I think these are the cards I'm caring about the most. Cards I care about the least here. The Ghostly Prisons are probably not that great. Boom Bust is okay. I definitely need win conditions here. Pillage is an all-star. There's another Ghostly. Whoops. 3 more. 3 more. I like the Mana Tithe still. I think taking care of something is not a bad idea. Suppression Field's probably okay for their Mutavault and for their Planeswalkers. Probably don't need as many though. This hits non-basics. Let's take 1 command out. Let's actually take 1 Mana Tithe out. It's nice, but it's actually... I don't want to be using it against like a Thoughtseize. That would be unideal to be using it for such a card. Let's go ahead and make those swaps here. See if we can take down Rack. What I like to play first... I'm going to say no, I think. Right? I don't care if they really Thoughtseize me here. I want to take the draw. Sure. This is good enough. Incendiary Command is a little bit high up on the chain here, but Rest in Peace stops Raven's Crime. Suppression Field stops Mutavault, maybe an early Planeswalker here. Rekindling Phoenix is difficult to deal with. I like this opening hand. Not to mention I do draw, making it a little bit harder for our Rack friend to rack us out. We'll keep this. My opponent does mull to at least 6. Too bad I'm not racking them out. Alright, we're happy with our 6. Urborg in play. Probably Thoughtseize Inquisition, something like that. So on and so forth. Looks good here, looks good. They might just take a Suppression Field, not caring about much else. They might take the Kindling Phoenix as well, because it's a difficult card to get rid of. Takes the Suppression Field. Alright. Sounds good. Pillage, it's an excellent one here at the beginning. One thing to note is that if I do play this Rest in Peace in, the flagstones stop and that Rekindling Phoenix gets worse. Alright. Target player discards 2 cards unless they discard an artifact card. Alright. I think for sake of what we've got going on here, I'm going to take care of the Rest in Peace out. I kind of want to take care of the Incendiary command here, although I do see this Mutavault. Let's go ahead and do this, though. Keep ourselves a land and some sort of like bolt interaction for either the land or a Planeswalker. If I get like a Boom Bust off the top, I'll want to hit the Urborg. And this does trigger Flagstones still, so we're looking good. We are going to look for a Sacred Foundry here so we can maintain double red. Looks good. Took them off their land. Got the Pillage next. Alright, we have a castle in here. No other things going on for our opponent. We do hit our land drop. I think because of where we're at in the game, I'm going to just go ahead and pillage. I don't want them to have the black mana. They didn't have just a basic plains or basic swamp either. And I could be getting this Phoenix out soon. We hit another bolt. That's good for Planeswalkers. Not very good for our mana for hungry Phoenix here. It does get rid of a Mutavault though, and I can't imagine they'll be booting that up anytime soon. Taking care of 2 lands thus far. Starting to wish I had that Incendiary back and not the bolts. Although I didn't know I was going to draw another one. Alright, looks like my opponent's stuck. Ooh, a tap land. Alright. We'll just take our tap land, pass back. We're probably 2 or so turns away from winning this. Alright, they did find another swamp or black source here. I, however, get to keep up a lightning bolt here and play Phoenix. Now this Phoenix does not have haste. It only gets it when it is reborn. But that'll be okay. This is 4, this is 6, that's 10, virtual 8 for my opponent. Inquisitions. Well, we're just going to have to let that fly. I think I want to hold these bolts for now. That should be their turn. They didn't Inquisition before. Trinisphere is pretty sweet. We'll go ahead and slam that. We'll put the Kindling Phoenix into play here, attacking 4/4 past the turn. Now things are really expensive for our opponent. Trinisphere looking good in this matchup. They do find their 3rd land. They've got 1 spell they may play here. Shrieking Affliction. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't think that's going to be enough, though. We'll see. Can't bolt at end step. Shrieking Affliction goes off here. We lose a little bit of life. Going to play the land in case I get the opportunity to play 2 spells a turn. In for 4 and pass turn. I'm going to hold the bolt as long as I can. If they get a discard spell, we'll obviously fire it off. I think we'll be just fast enough. Not being able to do 2 spells here to get rid of the Rekindling Phoenix means it's pretty much guaranteed to stay here in play. Alright, they do Thoughtseize, so we'll go ahead and bolt in response. This bolt is 3, this Thoughtseize is 2, they go to 5, this is 4 damage in, they'll be at 1. We'll hold the Sacred Foundry here, attack, and pass turn. I don't see any way they're getting out of this. But my opponent courageously plays on. Liliana doesn't do it. This Liliana doesn't do it. It's not exile, right? Okay, dies. We create a token at our turn. Token brings it back. Shrieking Affliction powers. Hasty, hasty. In for damage. So it's good to know that they have this Liliana. Just good awareness for us. I think that's information they didn't have to share. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy. I'm good to go in again. Good to go in. I don't believe that Liliana has any text on it that impacts 9 lives here. I don't want to draw 9 lives or our other card. I want to just naturally fall into them. So my opponents decided to... They're playing first. All right, we'll keep this. Don't like this in the hand. I like to draw that card. We have a Shrieking Affliction as our first card out of the gate here. Get to play an Inspiring Vantage, and I drew a Mana Tithe, which is very, very timely here. My opponent has this Wrench Mine that I assume they're going to try to fire off. Mana Tithe is not a bad trade for that. I could also trade Lightning Bolt Incendiary here. If I do that, this Mana Tithe is pretty safe. Let's say okay to this and get rid of the two cards that I mentioned here. Kind of makes my opponent feel like they're ahead here. Maybe I get to Mana Tithe next turn. If I get to Mana Tithe this coming turn, on like say a Liliana or Davriel, I feel like I've done what I needed here. There's a Rack. I can interact with a Rack. Can't interact with a Shrieking Affliction. Opponent plays completely around our Mana Tithe. Land drop? Uh-oh. need that land. Pillage is going to be going for a land now, probably. Ooh, 4 mana. 4 mana, Liliana. Play the Liliana. Got it. Woo! Alright, holding Mana Tithe here was really good for us. We don't have to play more than one spell a turn, and we should be higher than these for most of the game. Alright. We good. Rack does rack things. We do hit our land, so we're going to go ahead and fire off a Molten Rain here. I do get to use actually the Urborg here. I think for the time being, I'm going to leave that, and we're going to get rid of the castle because the castle can draw them things. The Urborg's saving me a little bit of life. I don't need to save a whole lot, but just enough, right? Just enough. All right, discarding. Let's... If I had a land, the pillage doesn't make sense. Maybe I just get rid of the 9 lives here. We can go get another one in the future. Let's do that. There's a lot of damage here if they start getting this in. Let's get rid of the 9 lives here. My opponent got rid of a Fatal Push. Land, Avalanche Riders, blow up Urborg, and attack this would be really a nice turn. Let's go ahead and yield the rack so we don't have to click that so often. Land drop, please. Untap land, specifically, would be great here. And at this point, I'd probably continue to get rid of just basic swamps over the Urborg. All right, Stone Rain it is. Let's go ahead and Stone Rain a basic swamp here and pass the turn. I may have to get rid of this pillage. Oh, I'm not going to get a choice. They're going to take pillage here and leave me with an Avalanche Riders. They're going to uptick Liliana. I'm going to get rid of an Avalanche Riders. And then Shrieking Rack and Shrieking are going to... I'm going to do the damage. Please land off the top. Really do need this because this is a lot. I miss everything. Let's hold and make... Let's just hope they don't top deck like a Raven's Crime or Thoughtseize here. With a land. Discard. We'll discard Stone Rain here. We're going to take a whole bunch of damage. The Shriekings, the Afflictions. Looks like our opponent's going to get us here. All this damage. This is 9. I think this is 9 damage. Alright, good game, opponent. Good game. They get it. Match 2, taken down by Rack. Didn't work out for us. Didn't work out. We're down 2. But that's never stopped us. We'll see you in match 3. Match 3. Okay, so we've learned a few things. 9 lives did buy us time. There may be an argument to actually running the full combination in the main board, but for now we're going to go ahead and just use it as something that buys us time. The other thing that's crossed my mind is something like a Gideon type of effect or a Platinum Angel type of effect as well. I believe both would prevent 9 lives. All right. We're on the, not the play, on the draw. We have a hand that has an actionable threat, Mana Tithe, and does have a Stone Rain. I think this is reasonably keepable. Opponent starts with a Breeding Pool tapped. It's always reasonable to see. We're going to represent Burn here initially with Inspiring Vantage. I don't know if Burn totally uses this yet, but we can look like older Burn at least. Playing the Flagstone, I think, gives away too much information. I'd like to see a 2-drop here that I can go ahead and Mana Tithe. Bant. Shock's in here. We have a Wall of Omens. That's probably not worth my Mana Tithe. Soul Herder deck, maybe? Kind of looks like that. Let's go ahead and shock in here now that I have 2 Mana Tithes. I'm feeling good here. Feeling good. We're going to need some Ghostlies here if it is a creature-based deck. Oh gosh, it's Field the Dead. That's not good for us. There's another wall. At least I can blow up a Field of the Dead. I think here I want to go ahead and play a Cascading Cataract here. This should kind of indicate what we're doing. I don't need to necessarily take any more damage. I'm going to wait to hold up 2 Mana Tithes here. My opponent may start to play around a Mana Tithe with how our mana is kind of indicating to them what we've got going on. Okay. Let's go ahead and shock in here. I can pretty safely attempt to boom bust here. I can then hold up a Mana Tithe for a Cryptic, and then I can Mana Tithe 2 spells. Kind of like that. 3 mana, 4 mana, perfect. Cryptic, nice. Get Mana Tithe. Bye-bye Field. We decided to go after the Field here. Any quick little ramp spells and our Mana Tithe's getting weaker and weaker. I can get a Stone Rain under something here. We'll try to double Mana Tithe here. We got Forced right behind this. This is important enough for our opponent to go and fight after this. We're also preventing a draw here. Seems okay. Getting rid of a field. It could also be one of their only fields in the list. Next turn here, I may Stone Rain, but I could also Rekindling Phoenix to get something on the board. Wonder if they have another Cryptic here. Oh boy. Now do I Stone Rain again? Take them off green? Well, let's get a threat down. Let's get a threat down here so that I can start attacking them. They might have a path. Looks like they do. I can't Mana Tithe that, unfortunately. Let's stick with a mountain here. Alright. Mystic Sanctuary here. A reason to go after the Stone Rain. They're picking up the Cryptic command. Rest in Peace is looking better in this matchup as we go. They are going to draw that Prairie Stream. Luckily, the Prairie Stream came into play tapped. I'm going to go after the green source here to take them off green, I think. Ooh, 9 lives. Okay. This kind of gets interesting. We'll go ahead and attempt Stone Rain on Breeding Pool, leaving Mana Tithe open. I might get an earlier concession here if I play the 9 lives and they think I have the Solemnity lock in the main. Kind of interesting. Not sure this is a matchup to bring that in. Cryptic Command to fairies and other cards like that definitely prevent us from completing that lock, bouncing the Solemnity. Alright, Stone Rain does fire off here, and we're just going to pass the turn, leaving Bolt in hand. 1 card for my opponent. They haven't been able to really draw other than their couple Wall of Omens. And we've got them off green. They do draw green. They put it into play tapped. So we have 1 card to beat here. We've drawn lands for the last couple turns. Let's go ahead and attempt a pillage here on the Breeding Pool, keeping them off green as best as we can. I'm going to go ahead and slap down to 9 lives here. If they have 1 more counter here, they've got 1 more counter. 9 lives seems relatively safe. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Alright, a little bit of Helix, a little bit of Lightning Bolt. Playing on the edge here with the 9 lives. 9 lives does present a way that they could kill me. Let's do this way, Molten Rain. Let's start to take them off their white here. If I can get the other white, that would be nice. They do find the Mystic Sanctuary. They can pick up something here. They pick up their Cryptic Command. Don't have it in hand yet. It's on top. Avalanche Riders. Let's go ahead and play that down. This gets rid of a Prairie Stream. I don't mind attacking here because I can actually use a Helix to get rid of one of the Wall of Omens. And then I can use a Lightning Bolt to get rid of the other one. I'll probably pay the Echo cost here. They drew their Cryptic. So they have a no turn here. Let's go ahead and pay for this Echo cost. Bonus Flagstones. Let's hold that for the time being. In for 2. And we'll scoot this one out of the way as well. All right. They do need a land. They've got a field. All right. That gives them Cryptic online currently. I've used 3 Mana Ties, so it's unlikely for me to draw another one. Let's go ahead and begin our combat phase here. In for 2. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to play the Suppression Field. If they allow this to resolve, the field doesn't help fix their mana. If they just counter it, this is fine too. Alright, they do go after this to help fix their mana a little bit here. Pretty okay. And it does land. Cool. Alright, so we have a Cryptic Command. We do have green mana here, which scares me a little bit for like something like Euro. Next, Molten Rain, Stone Rain will be going after this Forest if I can hit it. We're going to just bash them in for 2 each turn. It looks like we're going to play Euro. Alright. So we have to beat Euro here, which is only like a 4-turn clock, so 9 lives could benefit us. Opponent does find their land. That's good for them. They've got double green and double blue after all of my land destruction spells. Shocks it in is their choice. Well, this avoids a few things. We'll go ahead and Avalanche Riders, hoping that this sticks. Maybe a Remand. Aether Gusts. Well, I'll put it on top. Hit for 2. Cryptic Command is up and online now. Or if they want to, they can play Euro, number 2. From the yard. This is match 1, right? Or game 1. I'm a little surprised to see an Aether Gust main boarded. It's a little more of a sideboard card. A little bit more. Alright, looks like I'm going to get the Avalanche Rider number 2 down here. Let's go ahead and blow up. I could blow up and stop a Cryptic Command in the future. Be kind of an interesting one. Let's do that. Let's try that line. Kind of an interesting approach, I think. I'm going to go ahead and play the Flagstones here as well because this will at least get us an extra land. And that way I can pay and then also play a Molten Rain or something of that nature. It'd be kind of funny to bust them out here. Euro's going to be a problem, though. It's going to be a problem for us. No attacks, pass turn. So they're going to gain 3, which pretty much negates my attack here. I almost have to completely lock out my Euro opponent, which it's more land destruction and then a ghostly prison or two. Maybe we can get there. A couple blocks. Maybe a few more creatures to block with. I don't know. Path is kind of looking bad for us. We already have both of our basics in play. Here they come. We'll take one counter. Gains 3. Draws a Misty. That's pretty good for them. They get their 3rd blue now. Cryptic Command is online. Just running in all the land gain here. I guess I do need to put Boil back in. Boil might be needed. We'll go ahead and pay for this Echo cost. Alright, I actually can't play that. We'll hit for 4. And pass the turn. There's only one snow-covered island out there, so if they do have the snake, the flying snake, then we'd be okay. That's right, suppression field for Misty Rainforest. Does get their snow-covered island here. Plays a Growth Spiral. Oh my goodness, the Renin 6 on match 1 and now Euro here on match 3? Maybe it's not a good time for Red-White Lockout. Maybe. So we know they have Cryptic, and we know they're just basically drawing and gaining and everything with the Euro. Solemnity, even if we had it in, wouldn't stop 9 lives. Our life total is a nice healthy 19 still. So that's kind of nice. 4 mana here, 5 mana to Teferi. Didn't quite get rid of the other Temple Garden and take them off white completely here. Playing Teferi down though. No activation here, so they just lose Teferi. So that's good. That's good. Suppression field doing what it needs to. Should be able to get the Phoenix down here. We'll go ahead and fire in 4 damage at Teferi to keep it locked down. I suppose that with suppression field in a board state would prevent a Solemnity from being bounced from the Planeswalkers. Maybe it'll come in handy. Alright, they're up to 18 here. They're drawing a card and we're going to a 3rd counter on 9 lives. I could block this. I'm not going to bother. I would consider blocking it if I had enough creatures to kill the Euro. Flooded Strand here is 2. Get the Mystic probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mana after that. Yep. Wonder how many lands they have left. Ooh, Ghostly. Let's go ahead and attack for 8. Oh, we're not attacking for 8. We're not. They're tapping the team and drawing a card. Return a permanent. They return a Mystic Sanctuary and tap all creatures. Alright, so we're like at a Cryptic lock here, I think. Is that where we're at? They can play that in. They're drawing. The force stops this. We're just going to get 9 lived out. I guess I'm on defense now, right? Cracks the Flooded Strand. Gets a basic Plains here. They're running out of blue cards. Plays a Mystic Sanctuary tap, so they don't get Cryptic back, which is good. Didn't have enough islands. 9 lives going up to 4. They actually don't have enough to play. They don't have enough to play a Cryptic except for this Mystic Sanctuary. Blowing up an island might be important here. We're paying some mana in combat. A little worried. It might be just Little Teferi. Little Teferi? Little Teferi. Alright, Little Teferi can bounce something if they would like to. Bounces Phoenix. All right. I'll probably replay Phoenix. Let's go ahead and send both Avalanche Riders at Teferi here. Keep Teferi honest. We'll play a Rekindling Phoenix back down as well. And pass the turn. 9 lives is at 4. We would have been dead from 4 attacks. So it's bought us 1 turn. This will be number 2 turn that's buying us, because I'm not blocking. Uh-oh, we found a Field of the Dead. We now have zombies. That's not good. That's really not good. 9 lives is going to go away faster and faster here. We have a land in play. We actually have a land that comes back to hand as well. That's not very good for us. We're deciding to tap some of our blue mana down. Plays a Jace. Jace can bounce a creature. They can also check the top of the library. They're going down and bouncing Phoenix to hand. Phoenix would have killed Jace, so it's probably an okay reason to do that. One really cool note here is that Incendiary would be really, really, really good off the top. Unfortunately, we're going to play Phoenix. We're continuing to somewhat flood out here. Being able to blow up all the lands here within this in play would have been probably just enough. This would stop Jace from finding things. A good solid boom bust there would be nice. They probably have a force though. Even though we've gotten through 2 forces, the deck tends to run 3. Opponent's deciding Jace needs to draw them some cards. Looking. We have really forced this game to something much longer and much more difficult though for our opponent. And for that, I'm pretty satisfied. Field coming in for another zombie. Playing 3/4 mana. We're going to tap down team. Hit for 3. Hour of Promise. Okay. All right. Field of Ruin and a Citadel here. Gets more zombies. Attacks with Titan here. I might just block with Phoenix and see what happens here. I'm sure they have a path. So we'll probably lose the creature. They're going to swing around us anyway. I'm kind of curious just to see if I can get them to tap out a little bit more here. We only have 2 basics. Alright, Suppression Field doesn't do it here. We have plenty of zombies. They're going to get through. They have a Cryptic in hand that I'm aware of. I think they have the Cryptic in hand. There you go. Alright, so let's go to game number 2 here. This one took a little bit of time. Took a little bit. Defense Grid comes in for this matchup. Rest in Peace is probably okay. I sort of want to bring the package in here. I don't see a real reason for me to have probably the Helixes and Lightning Bolts. They do know about Mana Tithe now and may try to play around it. See, this was good. Deal 2 damage to each creature and blow up your field. Sure, we're going to keep that one in. Ghostly Prisons are okay here. I could probably trim 1. Bring all of this in. Seems alright. Yeah. Seems alright. We'll give it our best shot here. By the way, I love this Idyllic Tutor art. I love the dove bringing you an enchantment. So Ghostly's out, a 1 of. A couple Ghostlies would stop a very large field attack. Helixes and Lightning Bolts may be very good against, say, the Planeswalkers, but I think for us, we do have the Incendiary commands, which are nice, but we also have creatures. I think every time we do play this list, there is that nuance of, man, it's really difficult because at the end of the day, we're just not enough pressure. And I think we're still experiencing this with some of our adjustments here. Do I want to go just super hard on 9 lives, Idyllic Tutor, or Solemnity? I kind of do. I think that's a pretty solid lock that could happen. How solid? I don't know. But it might be worth a shot. Alright, opponent's still sideboarding. Key here is not to get totally dumpstered in this league. If we can at least take a win, I'll feel good about some of our adjustments and just needing that fine-tuning element. We did take a risk by using 9 lives only in the main and then sideboarding more into the combo. The lock. Are we getting punished for it? It's tough to say. It's tough to say. All right, would I like to play first? Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Suppression Field's actually relatively good in this matchup. My opponent does play a number of fetches. We're going to go ahead and play Sacred Foundry tapped here. I could be representing a Mana Tithe. My opponent's fairly smart here. Not going to bother. All right, these are great cards so far. Suppression Field here in. We're going to try to get this down. We'll see if they have a Force, Spell Pierce, or something else. Hoping none of that. Fetching. Sideways the breeding pool goes, and the suppression field is down. All right, if we see another fetch land, it's probably suppression field. If we see something else, maybe rest in peace. It's a gross spiral. Yeah, if I see another fetch land here, it's going to be a suppression field. It is not, but we could definitely play the suppression field. We could play a defense grid as well. Let's go for another suppression field here. Sacred Foundry tapped and past turn. I could then try to do something with the defense grid. We're trying to lock them out of their fetch lands, doing a whole lot here. 3 mana's Euro. Euro could get rest in peace. We can probably start with a defense grid to defend the rest in peace here as well. Might be better than an Avalanche Rider. Depends on, I suppose, what they play. Avalanche Rider could take care of the green source. Prairie Stream tapped. Getting close to Cryptic Mana. That worries me. There's a Misty. Avalanche Rider's looking pretty tasty now. Okay. Avalanche Rider's taking care of the green source here, and it dodges pretty well. With a Misty Rainforest as their land that they chose to put in here, I'm starting to think that this might be the right line. Let's go ahead and get rid of their green source here. Suppression Fields, I'm not worried about a Planeswalker here. I'm also not worried about completely smashing them yet. Extra Misty Rainforest, it looks like it's paid off for us. We'll try to get a Stone Rain here. I'd love to keep this. I think I've got to let it go, though, and try to defense grid Stone Rain. Land? Ooh. Oh. Oh, shoot. That's pretty good. You know what? Let's try a Rest in Peace first to bait out a counter. I presume this would bait out a counter if they have one, and then I can play defense grid. Wow, no counter. All right, well, in that case, I will attempt a defense grid here. This has got to be a counter, right? Mana leak. You waited on the mana leak? That's fine. All right, Tutor can get 9 lives or Solemnity, or it could get another suppression field. Flooded Strand. I'm going to probably fire off a Stone Rain here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's shock in here. We might need it for like a Spell Pierce or something. I'm going to take care of the Prairie Stream if possible. Assuming we got another counter spell over there. Ooh. No counter spell. So it's very unlikely they're going to ever fetch now. This would be a great time to have like an Assemble the Legion or something else that the Idyllic Tutor could go get. And in that way, we would be set for a win condition. It's a little awkward to have this in here and not have a win condition with it. I'm keeping it until I know which side of the lock I need. Yeah, having something else for this to fetch would be ideal. Let's go ahead and shock in here. I think I have enough to use the Sunbaked Canyon at end step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think so. I can take a draw here. Just playing a casual game of Lockout. I think at this point, if my opponent wants to, they might be worth maybe conceding. Cascading Cataracts. That's land. I'd love something else here. Discarding now. I won't say this one's in the bag just yet, but it's getting close. It's getting close. Okay. Do they draw land? I've got 2 Mana Tides here. Maybe I do use Idyllic Tutor to go get another suppression field. Man, if we had like an Assemble the Legion just like churning out. Try Defense Grid here. Didn't like that, and I can't actually double Mana Tide this. So you've just got to let that roll. Pass turn. Just got to let it roll. They do not want us to resolve a defense grid, that is for sure. We'll continue to play quick here. Play each land that we get. We can pretty much F6 through most of these turns. If they were to play an Opt, I wouldn't even Mana Tide that anyway. Ooh, there's a field. Okay, we might be using this Idyllic Tutor to go get another suppression field. Let's see what they think about this when I play this. Huh. Alright. I'm going to try to land another suppression field. Another force gets this, but a Mana Leak currently does not. So we're good against that. There's a force. My opponent's had all the forces. So that's 3 forces down, I think. 1, 2... It looks like only 2. And my opponent's now hit their last land they need to unlock their Misties. Alright. Let's play 9 lives down. So we've kept them off doing anything for quite some time here. I think we're going to see the crux of the list here. My opponent's going to pay 4 and be able to crack a Misty. If I could counter the ability or prevent them from searching in some way, maybe we would get lucky. Maybe that's a way to start taking the list if you go heavy on suppression fields. Getting that extra green now, and they do have Cryptic Mana up. Starting to look a little sketchy for us. But my opponent does have to beat us somehow. They got to get rid of this Rest in Peace probably. Having Planeswalkers that they have to tap out for every time doesn't seem like an ideal state. Looks like we're paying a lot here. Get to Mana Tide that. Hooray! It worked! Hooray! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Ooh, Avalanche Riders. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We'll just take the Breeding Pool out here. I will probably pay for this again. In for 2. Alright. I have added Avalanche Riders to this list, and I've been very happy with them. Even in this situation, it's been nice. There's a field. Maybe we fired off the Avalanche Riders just a turn too fast. This did come into play tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are able to play around Suppression Field currently. I will probably pay this Echo cost. 1, 2, but they don't have 3 blue. I'm clear of Cryptic. I think we fire this off. I know I don't have a Mana Tithe to protect this. So this could get Aether Gust, Mana Leaked, or something like that. I could also wait, because if they play a Planeswalker... You know what? Let's wait. Let's wait a turn here and see if that benefits us. It's going to be risky, I think. But I want to get this with a Mana Tithe backup. They're going to go fetch. They're going to get another creature here. We're going to easily block with Avalanche Riders. Going to try to make ourselves look a little desperate here. Does not have another blue that they're fetching. Field, trigger, extra zombie. 9 lives, looking a little scary. 1, 2 blue. No Cryptic currently. Another Force or Mana Leak or Aether Gust is available to him. I could also just let this happen. Nah, if I'm going to be blowing stuff up, let's do it this way. Alright, Avalanche Riders protects. We take 1 paw point. If I had a Ghostly Prison, then I could consider this. I want to try this Incendiary. Incendiary clears stuff, though. Maybe I'm supposed to just do the boom side here. I could bust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can float 3 mana here as well. Floating 3 doesn't really do anything for me. What am I retaining? I'm retaining 2 cards here afterwards. I already have a lot of my lands out of my deck here. So does my opponent, though. You know what? Let's just play somewhat safe here. Let's go ahead and do a boom here and try to kill the field. And see if that buys out a counter here for my opponent. Looks like it is. And then I can use Incendiary Command. Aether Gust. Let's put this on top and let's fire off this. Let's do 2 damage to each creature and destroy a non-basic here. You know, we got the command fired off. Opponent's like, what is this card? They have 4 mana up right now, so a Force wouldn't work. Wow, it worked. We cleared the thing that was trying to kill us. Opponent's pumping 4 mana in here for the Misty. Okay. What do we go get? Basic Forest. All right. Okay. If they play Teferi or Jace, they can't activate immediately. Currently, Mana Tithe looking poor. But I have a boom bust. Maybe I'm just busting. Maybe I'm just like, goodbye lands. Who cares about Magic anymore? Let's blow up all the lands. They might also use the field here to cycle away a land of mine. And they may do that so they don't get busted. Decisions. And this has put a stopper on them attacking me for a little bit. Is this Jace? Oh, it's Jace. Okay. They have mana up, but I'm gonna try to bust. We're going big. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gonna leave myself with a mana tithe open, busting away the lands. Then Jace is not active. Any fetch lands won't be good for them either. Oh, we did it. Now, because of the Rest in Peace, I don't get to keep the one land. So our Mana Tithe isn't very strong at the moment. We'll see how this plays. 9 lives, Suppression Field, Rest in Peace. Oh, we hit the land. We're champion. Should have been holding probably a few extra lands there. Flooded Strand, that does nothing for you, opponent. Oh, yes. Card that's never getting cast now. We took him out. Jace can't beat us right now. It's good. Oh, look, another 9 lives. Okay, we're going to hit some lands. All right. We got there. We got there. All right. I'm going to just submit back. I could bring the Trinisphere in. I think I'm just a little light on threats. Maybe I bring the Trinisphere in over the Tutor here. Like, is the Tutor really doing much? Honestly, is 9 lives Solemnity doing a whole lot? Maybe not. Maybe I bring in an extra Trinisphere. Let's give Trinisphere a chance in the spotlight here. If they get enough if they get enough zombies out, then the 9 lives probably really doesn't matter. We'll leave 1 and 1 in on the off chance I draw both. But they have ways to pop the Solemnity up to hand, and then just a nice big swing of zombies really doesn't change anything for them. But we'll keep a pair of them. Why not? The Incendiary command, though, got rid of the field and got rid of the I want to keep saving goblins. I've been playing against goblins a lot lately. Got rid of the zombies. Field of the Dead Killer. Hidden tech. Go pick up a playset right now. They're a quarter. 1 quarter probably. I think that first match and this match, like, there's something fun here. It's very not tuned, but there's definitely something fun here. All right, a few more seconds for our opponent to sideboard. Probably trying to come up with what's going on here. Suppression Field was very good, though. They didn't like the defense grids either. So those are definitely paying off to have. And the Rest in Peace clearly took care of Euro. That was one of their big main threats that game. Couldn't win without it, it seems. Here we go. Here we go. Final game against this opponent. Match 3. I mean, if you're gonna pick a few cards aside from Solemnity here, could you go wrong? Let's keep this. This is pretty nice. Breeding Pool, tap for our opponent. With a 3-ball? Alright, these 2 cards, maybe not so much. These 2? Gotta decide how we want to lead this. Basic Guiding Breeding Pool here. Okay. I'm tempted to lead with one of these. I don't know which one I want to. It's probably just a Suppression Field as the first one. This one should get some attention from my opponent. Growth Spiral. Okay. Citadel. Allows it to land. Okay. I would absolutely love to be able to play Defense Grid and Rest in Peace like the previous game. We'll wait to do that if my opponent doesn't play Euro here. If they do and have what they need, I definitely would worry about that. Field of the Dead has been played. All right, so we have a Molten Rain. I would love to fire this Molten Rain off. I'm afraid my opponent... I'm afraid that they're going to have something that prevents me from destroying that Field of the Dead. I could also try to Defense Grid here and then next turn Molten Rain. We have, what, Hour of Promise probably showing up here. Let's Molten Rain the field here. I have a feeling this is countered in some capacity. Veto. It's a strong counter. Strong counter. Okay, so if we have an Hour of Promise here, we have a turn to get some pretty nasty things down. Nothing. Okay. What if I try to do a Boom Bust here? Field looks like the way they want to win, so Boom Bust here to try to get rid of that. They force, and then I'm going to try to play a Defense Grid here, hoping that this prevents future counters. We have a lot of land destruction, so I'm trying to get rid of that field, but kind of try to eventually get through all their lands, or their counters here. 3 mana here. What do we have for 3 mana? We need a different color off this. Oh, it's Teferi. Teferi with an activation because of Suppression Field. Okay. What are we getting rid of, Teferi? Defense Grid to hand. Land played. Okay. It's a Molten Rain. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to Molten Rain the field here. I know I could be getting Defense Grid down, but with Clock in consideration here, and any upticks, activations, cost, I think getting rid of their threat is a good idea. And I'm going to now Defense Grid and maybe Rest in Peace. They'll be able to get rid of this with the Teferi. See if we can get lucky here. We do. All right. Everything in the yard does go away briefly, which is nice for us. They have to pay to uptick the Teferi, and that may not be in their best interest. Leaves everything open. Let's try a Trinisphere here. I have the ability to activate... No, I don't. Needs one more. All right, forces and passes back to us. Maybe that was a turn to get Solemnity down. They're just not upticking this. I guess that's good. I think we're going to lock them out completely here, and we're going to take them the distance on the time and the clock. Timing out some value Bant deck. I might be speaking too soon, though. We got 3 minutes here. Activate this to go up, and they have 4 mana. I mean, that seems reasonable. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. You trying to get a turn where you Cryptic away the Rest in Peace? I mean, what are they trying to Cryptic away? Maybe they're afraid that I'll play 2 spells a turn. Maybe that's the hesitation, and they need to leave as much mana open for that as possible. I wonder if I go after the Citadel if I do get something here. I suppose I do because the Mystic Sanctuary is not important because of Rest in Peace. Try an Avalanche Riders here. This will take care of the Citadel and also the Teferi. Counter draw. Alright. A-okay with me. It's a long pause for them at 3 minutes there. 2 minutes on my opponent's clock, countering my threat. What's next? Your row? Alright, this should go away. They draw a card. They do find a field. This is not good for us. We need a land destruction spell. Land destruction spell. We have lots of them. I'll take it. Do we blow it up? Aether Gust. We'll put it on top here. I'll redraw that. I'm at 16. Land in. Hour of Promise. So now we're going to get a bunch more of these. Now I need my command. How many more is this going to be? Just 2 fetch lands. That last card's got to be a counter of some sorts. Has to be. Otherwise, they would have gotten another field, right? 2, 4, 6. Let's go ahead and play the Solemnity down. We'll put Solemnity down only because if I get 9 lives, it helps a little bit more. And although they can pick up the Solemnity with the Teferi, they're a little ways away from doing that. It's an Avalanche Riders. Let's go ahead and do that. It's a blocker. I don't think I go after Teferi here. I think I keep on blocking. They do have a path. Okay. Uh-oh. Minute left. We have a redraw for our 9 lives. We have a redraw for the 9 lives. We have one in the list. Growth Spiral. Picks up some card. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Redraw. Ghostly's interesting, right? They won't pay this 4 mana over here. Maybe they'll goof up. Well, there you go. Bant takes us. We spoke too soon. After they thought about that one play, they went for it. They even pay all 6. It's not looking good for Red-White Lockout. No siree. 0-3 in matches currently. Can we salvage anything out of this league? Let's find out. Let's find out. Next one. Here we go. Match 4 coming up. Looking for our first win. You have to realize, though, we are 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 in every single match. So we're not getting completely steamrolled, and many of the matches are going close to time. So, what do we need to change? Maybe we just need to be on the play more. Maybe we shouldn't have this card. Alright. Suppression Field, Boom Bust, we're good to see here. We have a Flagstone as well. I like all of this. We are definitely going to try to lead on either Suppression or Boom Bust here. If I see a fetch land, probably Suppression Field. If I see a non-fetch land, maybe something else. Alright, so we're getting the Suppression Field down. Suppression Field down here. Polluted Delta for my opponent. I don't think they'll have a counter here, unless they're Grixis Death Shadow. We have land destruction, land destruction, land destruction. They go get a Triome. Triome is the Triome of Sultai. Maybe they have another fetch land. Nope. Overgrown 2. Tapped. Alright, so I can take them off blue here, and I am going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to play with the Stone Rain here. I can double boom next turn. They didn't counter the Suppression Field, so I feel fine that there's no random Sultai Stubborn Denial from the Sultai Shadows. Mystic Sanctuary. I wonder which color I leave them with. Oh, wait. Not really going to leave them with any colors. It helps to tap appropriate mana, just as a heads up. I think I'm going to go all in here and just take them out of lands. We're going to get rid of the one that pains us a little bit. I need 2 lands for Incendiary Command. My opponent also needs just lands to play the game. So if we flood out, we're good. If we don't flood out, then we'll have action. I kind of want to use that each player discards all the cards in their hand and draws that many cards, but that will probably reset their lands here some. They'll probably reset some lands. Let's go ahead and just Molten Rain this past turn. I'm waiting for the concession of frustration from our opponent. Ooh. Ooh, Force. Gets rid of a Nexus of Fate. Oh boy. Oh boy. Do another suppression field here. I'm wondering, what do I do with this? I want to just spin the wheel. If they don't play a land here, let's do that. Let's spin the wheel and have some fun. Match 4. Oh. Would have drawn this, but I was going to spin the wheel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We would have had 9 lives over. So I would have hit 2 lands, a mana tithe, and 2 land destruction spells. Nice. All right, so we're against some sort of field deck again. I'm going to bring the defense grids in once more. I'm thinking I want these Rest in Peace possibly as well. Last time we took out some Helixes. Bolts. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to bring the Trinispheres in. We'll leave ourselves with 2 9 lives here. I think that's smarter than trying to do the lock completely. We'll leave ourselves with the Ghostlies as well. All right, we can mulligan this hand. Need better stuff than this. This is not any better. All right. We'll get rid of a Ghostly. We'll get rid of a Cascading Cataract. Let's get rid of the Plains. I'll keep 1 Ghostly here. This opening hand wasn't very strong for us, unfortunately. We do hit an Avalanche Rider, though. I'm pretty happy about that. So we have the Mana Tithe into the Ghostly, into the Avalanche Riders. I think I can get behind that. Okay. We'll hold ourselves back here. Rest in Peace could be defended by the Mana Tithe. No reason to probably throw that away. If they grow Spiral or something, I'm happy to Mana Tithe that. There's a field. All right. Getting there, getting there. Let's go ahead and shock in here. It seems like a good strategy. Rest in Peace. This makes our Flagstone a little bit weaker, but we have the Cascading for Boom Bust. We do not like this. This draws them a card. Since we don't like it, we'll go ahead and attempt a Mana Tithe. Mana Tithe is slowly getting weaker and weaker. We talk about this as the game goes on. Mana Tithe kind of sees not as resiliency in terms of what it can counter. Looks like my opponent was able to not only Remand, but also Shark Typhoon, getting rid of Shark Typhoon for a Force. All right, well, let's try to put a threat down. Avalanche Riders would love to take that Breeding Pool out. I presume there's another counter waiting for us. It might be like another Force, though. Breeding Pool taken care of. Ooh, 3 mana. Okay. Shark Typhoon for 1. Fun little fact. I've been playing some Historic. Last 2 games have felt like just playing Historic. For those dogging on the format a little bit. The last 2 matches have felt like historic. This is literally a historic deck. Just saying, if you were wondering. Alright, let's pay for that. We're going to keep our Avalanche Riders around. It would be wonderful to have a Mana Tithe, but my opponent seems to be doing Sharks, so let's see if they go with another Shark here. I think this 2 is getting in just safely, and does so. Nice. Alright. Castle Vantress. 4 mana Wilderness Reclamation. That would have been fantastic to stop with a Mana Tithe. No such luck. Okay. Go ahead and get in for 2 while we have the chance. We'll attempt a Stone Rain here. Stone Rain on probably the castle at this point, so they don't get scries in here. Out of cryptic range, they might have another Force of Negation, though. And they do. Pass. I'm afraid to crack the Sunbaked Canyon here, and I'm afraid to do that because we don't have double red in another way. Hits for a point. 4, 5, 5, 5. Oh, it's Factor Fiction. Mana Tithe just weak enough. Oh, I hate this so much. Let's do it this way. I'm kind of trying to tempt them with the Cryptic here. They take the Remand and the 2 other cards here. The Remand's really bad for us to see them take because it's cheap. Mana Tithe doesn't get rid of it. 4, 5. Ugh. You know what? I said we'd do it before. Let's just throw ourselves to the wolves here. Let's destroy, and then each player wheels. Surely they like that, right? Destroy Field of the Dead, but I'm offering you the chance to wheel your hand and just decimate me. Why are you remanding this? Rude. So rude. I wonder if they realize what they just did. Cycles a Triome. They still have Watery Grave. Snow-covered Island comes into play. Field of the Dead is at 6. 1 point in here. Untaps with the team of lands. Heh. Hit for 2. Let's try this again and let's try to wheel our hand. I'd really like for my opponent to allow the wheeling of the hand to happen here. Mystical Dispute. Wow. Dang. Got disputed. Growth Spiral gets another land in here and gets to play a land. Plays a Misty as well, so they're going to get a bunch more zombies here. Cracks Misty Rainforest. The end is bleak for us here. The end is bleak. I don't know how to compete with the Field of the Dead lists. If we play more of the Ensnaring Bridge list, we might have a shot. The problem with Ensnaring Bridge is then we can't really have creatures that attack. We'd have to be more in the Planeswalker shell, which isn't a bad thing. Plays a Swamp Down. We know they have this Watery Grave. So we have Watery Grave unknown card here. They're going to use Castle here. Scry 2. Pretty sure this one's out of our reach. They put 2 cards on the bottom. Swings for probably 1 in the air. We go to 10. Untaps. Oh, I hate it. I want to Ghostly Prison here and then try to bust them next turn if we draw the land. Maybe we'll get lucky. Don't have a counter. No counter. All right. Hold the rider back. Scrying again. Please don't put anything on top. Take a random draw, please. Oh no, they put 1 on top. It is not ideal. I'll put Watery Grave into play tapped, which is good. They're going to try to escape Euro here, and I can mana tithe it, right? No, it's not casting. Right? I can't counter this. I have to hit the land off the top, right? And hope they don't have a counter spell. They have the swamp over here anyway. Whee! Maybe they'll accidentally not pay for this. Oh, wee! What? Why wouldn't you pay for that? You're gonna untap everything. Why wouldn't you pay for that? Land. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fetch. What if they don't have any more lands? We're trying to get in. You have a counter? No! Don't do this! Oh, they're scrying. Oh. Oh, is this resolving? I'll have 2 lands plus this will get me a land because we don't have a Rest in Peace in play. 1 card on bottom, 1 card on top. Oh my gosh. We did it. Now we just have to find a way to kill all of these creatures before Ghostly happens and gets undone. Misty Rainforest here for our opponent. Okay. Untaps it. Ooh, okay. That's an okay card. I need another land. They're gonna fetch, right? Oh, they don't even fetch. They're just like, no, I'm not about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Can't really do anything. Suppression Field would be good. All right, we're doing nothing. We're doing nothing. We'll fire off a Molten Rain as soon as we can. This way we can Molten then Molten. Oh my gosh. Nothing's happening. How many forces do we have? 2 are done. Oh, it comes into play tapped. We're so close. Oh. Results are nothing from our opponent so far. Wilderness trying to do the untap tap. It doesn't work. Oh, that's not a bad card either. All right, Molten Rain attempting on Misty Rainforest. They'll go ahead and fetch here. Should be pretty straightforward for them. And does so. All right. Couldn't really get around that. I could put a 9 lives into play. So if they start attacking me, then we're pretty safe. We could entertain that next turn if they don't play a land. We'll see, we'll see. Wonder how many lands they have in their list. There's a lot already dead here. Certain ones are exiled as well. I think I try Avalanche Riders next. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Got a little bit of damage in here. In for 2. Pays. Like, this gets around force. That's got to be the line, right? Untaps. Oh, that's right. They untap. guys are crazy. Let's try Avalanche Riders because it's also a blocker here. Oh, it gets down. We'll get rid of this Overgrown Tomb. I don't mind giving them some blue mana. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine I pay for this. I think I have to go after that Mystic Sanctuary too. There's no way there's no way. I've just got to blow up the land here. No echo cost here. I'll just Molten Rain them. It's not a bad card either. Molten Rain. See if they have a force. 2 forces are down here. When this list does what it's supposed to do. Oh, yeah. We got there. We got the match. We won. 4th match down. Really destroyed some lands there. Boyle's looking pretty good, but Boom Bust, specifically Bust, knocked it out of the park. Little Ghostly Prison there. Took down the Wilderness Reclamation deck. Yes. Oh, yeah. Match 5. We got a W, and our W came as a 2-0, blowing the lands up. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 2-0 going to match 5. Let's find an opponent. Red-White Lockout with a few spicy things that probably don't belong in Modern. Dancing in the queue. Dancing in the queue. Da, 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 da. All right, we found our opponent. Let's play some Magic. Let's play first. Let's look for a good opening hand. Hopefully that'll be what we get. Gotta play first. One lander. Probably not worth it. Opponent is Obosh. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. Look for something a little stronger. Here we go. All right, we'll keep this. I'm going to go ahead and ditch a Inspiring Vantage. No, Sacred Foundry. And ditch one of these. Obosh sometimes means some sort of Ponza list. We can boom bust them fairly easily here at the beginning. Maybe they'll put like a Utopia Sprawl on a basic Plains or something for us, and then we can really set them back. Oh, a mountain. Oh, a Beaumont. Okay. Well, that was a bit unexpected. Okay, so we're kind of like aggressive. Obosh. Flagstones is a nice one here. Let's just go ahead and boom bust here on the mountain. Take care of that. I got a Pillage for Beaumont. We might be using that in that fashion, or I might be blowing up lands for the foreseeable future. Let's go get that Sacred Foundry that I put at the bottom of the library. Yes, please. This will be an interesting matchup because I will need to keep the Helixes and the Helixes and the Lightning Bolts in, but I can probably get rid of the suppression fields. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Swift Spear Beaumont here. Probably going to Pillage Fire off of the Sunbake Canyon. Beaumont goes up here with a land, a card underneath it. 2 damage, 17-19. All right, Pillage away. I kind of want to blow up Beaumont. What do we think? What do we think? YouTube, what do we think? I'm listening. Could blow up Beaumont, then they don't get the cards. It's a fair point. I've got the Avalanche Riders. You're right. You're right. Deck does have a lot of land destruction. You're correct. All right. I heard you all out. Beaumont's being killed. Incoming list of comments. You're destroying lands. What are you doing? All I have to do is say, thank you for watching. You're in match 5. Appreciate the support. Extra land here. They're both painful lands. Bonus Swift Spear here. And a Firebolt. Woo. Woo. 2 cards to beat. I'm going to be playing an Avalanche Riders. We might Pay the echo cost? Let's play an Avalanche Riders here. Blow up a land. I think I can become defensive here. Couple Swift Spears. We need like a Ghostly Prison or something. Gonna remain on defense. By the way, there's that extra land destruction spell. YouTube, you're so smart. You're so smart. I knew I could trust you. Wonder if they attack. Maybe they don't have any more 1-drops. Oh, what is this? Why are you playing another land, opponent? Why are you still playing Magic? Oh my gosh, Firebolted. Bye-bye Avalanche Riders. Alright, we're getting hit for 4. Getting hit for 4, maybe more. Oh no, it's more. And a Burst Lightning. Oh boy. Now I need like a Helix off the top. This is 6. Yeah, I could use a Helix right about now. Well, I'll blow up another land here. That way they can't randomly draw into it. We're going to get hit for 2. I'm going to go to 1. By the way, this is going to be funny if they could ever play Obosh through all this. There's got to be some 3-drops in there. There's got to be. All right, now I need like running Helixes. Maybe a Ghostly Prison. Maybe a 9 lives. Definitely not a land destruction spell. All right. Here we go. Solemnity, Idyllic Tutor, Trinisphere, Anger of the Gods, and Core Firewalkers. All of this here. Incendiary Command can come out here. Ghostly Prison's good. Suppression Field doesn't look very good either. Mana Tithe right. Lightning Bolts. 9 lives. This combo is staying in here. We'll see if we get lucky with that. Boom Bust maybe doesn't need to be in here. It's tough to say. Because they're not a Ponza list, I think I can drag those out. Rekindling Phoenix could be very difficult for them to deal with. I like that over maybe an Avalanche Rider. Probably want to keep maybe the Avalanche Rider though. Maybe get rid of a pair of perhaps like Molten Rains. So we have the combo, we have removal for their small creatures, Lightning Helix, Lightning Bolt for that, Mana Tithe for big things. Land destruction spells still fairly heavy. Yeah, Core Firewalkers. I think we've got a good shot here at this. Just got to get the 9 lives Solemnity combo out. Opponent is red, maybe red-white, Bone Mats and Swift Spears. We could do this. This could be our time. We might get the lockdown. We'll hold Idyllic if we hit that, and we'll try to either top deck Solemnity or 9 lives so we know which one to go get with the other side of the tutor. Match 5, final match, Obosh, Odd, Burn, Spells. Yes. If we ran into more burn, ley lines would be interesting, but more 9 lives could be interesting. If we run into less burn, that part probably can be taken out. Really want a Simian Spirit Guide. Really shouldn't ask for that. That's just mean to people. It's the wrong deck. Come see our Red Prison lists. Go browse our YouTube. There's some of those in there. Let's play first. All right, here. Let's have a good opening hand. We'll see also if they declare Obosh. I presume they will. I don't see a reason why they would have adjusted so much so that they don't have Obosh, but we'll see. Actually, the fact that they're not showing it makes me think they might have it. Maybe in the library. Maybe they didn't play it. Maybe they brought in a whole bunch of Chandras. We're just going to keep this. This is pretty good. Pro red. We got that. We can put this into play tapped. I've got a Ghostly Prison. Yep. Yep. It's a good start. It's a good start. Mountain here. We got the Swift Spear down. Getting hit for 1. Passing the turn back. They did declare Obosh, by the way. It's over there. Anger the Gods looking real good here. Core Firewalker down. Good luck, opponent. Protection from red. This deals damage. Core Firewalker likes that. This is a great start for us. Good start. One thing they could do, I wonder, I think Stomp can be played with Obosh because it's actually the giant Bone Crusher. So if they tap out here, then I feel pretty good to block. Oops. I should say always yes. Alright, always yield to Swift Spear. That's probably pretty okay to do. Firebolt. In for damage. Lights the stage. Well, always yes, always yield. There we go. Always yield to that one, too. Am I going to have to yield to each version of Prowess? Looks like it. No attacks. No surprises here. We'll play a Flagstone here. I'm going to go ahead and play a Ghostly down. We'll pass turn. I feel fairly safe doing so and just leaving myself with the Core Firewalker here. I'd like to actually see another creature before I Anger the Gods randomly. We'll F6 through this turn. Land from there. Probably cast this Firebolt for a point. 2 damage, but I gain 1. This might be a little bit tough if they do get to Obosh, because that could be a lot of extra damage, and that would overpower Core Firewalker here, possibly. I think if they attack, I don't even block. There's Solemnity. Alright, so piece 1 of the puzzle is here. We'll jam it in. Red usually has no way to deal with enchantments. Feels fairly safe. Now we're just on defense to find 9 lives. We could get the lock here. They know what's up. They know what's up. How much is Obosh? 5, right? Oh gosh, are they gonna give me a hug? They're giving me a hug. I'm just gonna let this ride. Just gonna let it ride. A point here is hardly anything. In for 1. We'll play another one down. Now we look real good. Now we look real good. Honestly, if they stomp here, I'm almost tempted to Anger. Ah, we didn't get the lock. This is sort of a lock against them. Was 9 lives coming anytime soon? The answer is no. Submit. Core Firewalker just really good against the red deck. Gonna not lie there. Pretty good. Okay. Final match. Final game. Playing red-white. 9 lives lockout. Trying to fit this into the red-white lockout list that's destroying lands. We'll have some thoughts in the conclusion. We'll definitely piece this together, but it's an interesting list. It needs something. It needs something. We'll talk about what that something is in the conclusion. Hit up the conclusion if you just want to skip and you're pretty confident we got the W here. I wouldn't be confident. All right. Match 5 here. Game 3. For all the marbles to go 2-3. What do we got here? We have a lightning bolt. All right. I'm kind of okay with this. The lightning bolt's not a bad thing to have here. Killing a Soul Scar Mage seems fine as well. We'll just do that before any weird prowess triggers happen. They're only playing 2 1-drops here or a single 1-drop. They can't play a 2-drop here. Fire bolts and maybe a light up the stage. Lands is not a bad thing for them to hit. Ooh. 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 Piece 1. I do need a land first, though. Alright, we could have a 3-drop here. And it looks like we are. Oh. Shoot. I actively cannot cast 9 lives anymore. Well. So much for our strategy. It'll be okay. Oh, it won't be okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. A 4-drop? We're in dangerous territory here. Another 3. Puts Obosh into hand. I need a land right here. Oh, I hit the land. Thank goodness. All right. Let's start with a Stone Rain here. I guess I get rid of the Sunbaked Canyon in case Blood Moon disappears for some reason. All right, we're looking good. We probably can keep Obosh at bay here for quite some time. If they hit a 4th land here, I follow with Pillage. If they don't, I probably Rekindling. Okay, we hit the land. We hit the land in the Beaumont. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a land here, whether that's Avalanche Riders or if that's a Pillage. Got to keep them off these lands as best as we can. All right, it is a Pillage here. Pillage away the land. Go ahead, opponent. Needing to hit my 4th land here. Luckily for us, it doesn't come into play tap due to Blood Moon, so that's like a benefit for us. Uh-oh. How many nasty things are we going to get here? We actually probably win this game if I can get a Avalanche Rider in this 4th land down. I say that because the couple Rekindling Phoenixes won't be too bad as pressure. We're doing another light up the stage? We are, and they do hit their land drop, and they hit a Swift Spear. This is really good for them. Land drop, please. Come on. Come on. Also, you should just play this. Oh, 3-drop. Oh, Blood Moon. Don't need that. Land. Oh, okay, that works. Molten Rain. Go ahead, opponents. All right, we're preventing Obosh, but we are running out of time here. Swift Spear down. They can play one more thing here. 2 mana. Is this the Stomp? It is the Stomp. Okay. Might play Avalanche Rider first now. This is 3 damage in. We're at 11. Oh gosh, I need that land. Need that land. Oh no. We have a bunch of 4-drops. Alright. They play Bone Crusher. I get an Anger off the top. I will take that. 2 damage in. I'm at 9. Okay, Soulscar Mage down. Anger. Oh, it's another 9 lives. No. You know how good this would be right now? 9 lives could prevent so much damage, probably. Oh, they hit their 4th land, too. It's all slipping away. 3 damage in. No prowess, no prowess, no prowess, no prowess. Obosh and 2 unknowns. Now I have to play Avalanche Riders. Down to 6. Plays a Bone Crusher. Land or bust. And that's how it finishes. That's how it finishes. 1-4. Overall. Blood Mooned out. I feel like I deserve that. We'll see you guys in the conclusion and talk about the list and what might need to change to make it a true Red-White 9 lives. Red-White 9 lives Lockout, or really just Lockout with a slight adjustment to include 9 lives, the enchantment that gives you 9 chances of damage before you lose the game. We also included an incendiary command just to give the card a shot. You can immediately throw that in the garbage. We didn't like it as much as we thought we would. It was great against field, but probably just not very good. If you're drawing cards and doing damage in some deck, then maybe consider the card. There is a reason why this command does not see much play, and I think we've continued to prove that out here without too much question. Mana Tithe has been good. I don't think I actually missed the oust, so there may be some room for you if you're trying to modify the list a little bit. I like the idea of maybe a Gideon or Planeswalker heavy build, but then you have to drop the suppression field, and as we saw, suppression field did do some very decent amount of impact games. If you go the suppression-less route, I think you can get rid of some of the Rekindling Phoenixes. You probably can get rid of something like these 9 with Incendiary Command, Rekindling, Avalanche, and Suppression Field. You bring in things like maybe Karn, you can bring in Gideon, you could bring in Chandra, Heart of Fire, or Torch of Defiance, maybe Awakened in the sideboard. If you start to do this, then the 9 lives makes a little bit more sense. You switch the Ghostlies out for Bridge. You could start to do that. I would almost argue Mana Tithe doesn't need to be in a build like that. And now you're more like red-white control with a lock of maybe Solemnity and 9 lives. It also might just be high Planeswalkers for the win at the end of the game. The list is sweet, though. I think there's definitely much more tuned and more aggressive lists that will be doing the red-white lockout strategy better. But I think this presents an idea, something to think about and something to consider. Yeah. Overall, I like the list. Sideboard-wise, Core Firewalker here definitely needs to remain in there. I think if you want to, you can bring in the Karn package, like I said. Maybe Wrath of God style things if you want to go more control. If you want to go more enchantments, maybe an Assemble the Legion or the Outlaw's Merriment that we've played before. And that would tie in with your Idyllic Tutor, Solemnity, and 9 lives package. Red-White Lockout, a variation, 9 lives, modern. Thank you all for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video like many of the other videos you see on our channel, like, subscribe so you get those notifications when we do put something up. We try to, in most cases, put something up Tuesday, Thursday, and then if we have an extra one, we put it up on Saturday as well. As always, this is FluffyWolf2. You can see me live at twitch.tv/FluffyWolf2, or just check us out here on the YouTube channel. Thanks, take care, have a good one.